Module 2 of the entire boot camp. And what we're going to be focusing heavily on Module 2 is cultivating confidence so that you can show up and embrace your inner leader and to step into your power. There's a lot of fear behind showing up online and having the confidence to, offer your services or, follow through on your mission. So having that confidence is super important if you're going to step into that role. So I'm going to show you how you can fully step into your power and own it. My goals for you are to acknowledge your fears and doubts, step into a leadership role, develop the courage to try, and to discover your higher purpose. I want you to gain the courage to try and create confidence, stepping into the power that I know you were meant for, totally saying screw it and just going for it. And developing a sense of courage requires being confident in your core identity. So all the work that we did in Module 1 needs to align with you. It has to feel good. You have to be confident in those trainings and the work that you did before moving on to this module. And having a deeper sense of your self-awareness and owning your truth 1,000% means having the courage to try, which requires us to act in spite of any fears and doubts. And even if you're working through limiting beliefs and doubts, they are still going to show up. But it's that ability to continuously work through those fears and doubts and still show up with confidence. I have fears and doubts all the time. I will never be fearless because we have fear for a reason. I don't want to just walk out in the middle of the road because I'm fearless, but it's having the ability to work through those fears and live amongst those fears that allows us to step into that confidence role, into that confident demeanor. And we tend to talk ourselves out of goals and visions because of its complications or impracticalities or that it's unrealistic. But you are going to miss out because you are bounding yourself to your own possibilities, okay? So what I want to address first is your fear and your limiting beliefs behind online entrepreneurship, in money mindset, anything that's going to hold you back or that is currently holding you back from the ability to step into your power. So if you feel like you've been really overwhelmed, you're not gaining the traffic that you desire, or you're just not getting the traction that you keep trying for, and a lot of it is probably stemming from lack of confidence, which is stemming from fear or limiting beliefs. So fear as an online entrepreneur is so common. And fear is natural. And like I said, without fear, we would act impulsively like walking out into traffic or getting eaten by a bear, okay? That's ridiculous. Which may be really extreme, but we are not trying to become fearless here. Rather, face our fears and set them aside and just learn to make room for them so that we can make room for our own power. We should focus on turning our fear into opportunity and work with them instead of trying to go against them and completely get rid of them, because that will never be. So a lot of common fears that I notice, especially in female entrepreneurs, are failure, money, imposter syndrome, not feeling like we have the right quote-unquote credentials, and needing to figure things out first. I want you to consider writing a letter to fear. It's not a part of your exercise, but it's something I find useful, and I think you would find very useful as well. It's just a really simple exercise. Writing down your fears and writing a letter to them. When it comes to fear, maybe it's failure, I want you to ask, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen most likely is that it just doesn't work, right? It's that simple. There's nothing worse that could go wrong. When it comes to the fear or excuse that you have been waiting for the right time to start your business, things are never going to be perfect. Successful people start taking steps before they are completely ready, but you will never be totally prepared. I can tell you that from experience. But being confident in your purpose and journey is going to help you prepare for what's to come. Now, facing your fears and overcoming them. You have to declare that you want to face your fears. You have to back up what you say with action. For if there is not action, there will be no change and you won't overcome. And I talk about this again and again when it comes to anything that you are deciding on. You have to be the one that declares that you're ready. You have to be the one that puts action behind that declaration. I can tell you all I can tell you on confidence and fear and what it means to overcome it, but I can't help you overcome that fear if you're not ready for it. So you have to sit there and declare, I'm freaking ready to get over my fear that I'm not good enough, or I'm ready to get over my fear that I'm not going to be successful or I'm not going to make money, okay? And then you got to follow that up with action. Say, I am deciding to overcome my fears and become confident in my ability to create a life of opportunity and significance. Continuously working on your inner growth, spiritual work, personal development, whatever you want to call it, that inner work that is going to allow you to get through the shit that you've been facing is going to help you overcome your fears. Simply saying isn't going to be good enough, right? You have to show up and do the work that's needed to show up with the courage and confidence to believe in yourself and your mission to serve. So a lot of what we talked about in Module 1 was, defining your ideal reader and showing up with your mission statement and following up with that, following through on your mission to serve. Now, you have to have that confidence in your mission. If you aren't confident in your mission and your purpose, people are going to tell because they sense this lack of courage, this lack of confidence from you. And if you have that lack of confidence, why should they trust in you? Why should they continue to be one of your community members or eventually want to work with you if you don't even believe in yourself? When you can believe in yourself, your programs, your services, and your content 110%, people are going to buy into that because you're passionate about it. You are fulfilling your purpose and you know that your mission is your life's work. So when it comes to saying, yeah, I'm going to face my fears today. I'm going to stop saying this. But are you really? Okay, it's kind of like that tough love that I'm giving you. Okay, you can say these things all you want, but it's not enough unless there is action put behind the declaration. And I'm going to continue to say that. There has to be action behind your declaration that you are going to do the work and face your fears. Now, moving on from fears, I want to talk about limiting beliefs. It's kind of like a buzzword lately in this industry, right? Limiting beliefs. We hear it all the time, okay? And I love this. What you believe is what you create. I believe that I can make money doing what I love. That is a truth. I believe 100% that I am able to make money doing what I love. Now, limiting beliefs can be stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back from stepping into our power fully and don't allow us to show up as a leader. There are these so-called truths we have been holding on to for so long. Limiting thinking tends to stem from parental programming and beliefs. So, let's just think about it. Like, a lot of us grew up with these beliefs because that's what we grew up around, right? It was our parents, our family, our friends, the environment in which we grew up, our schooling. Those beliefs that we were surrounded by have been imprinted on us. But just because we grew up with these beliefs, these stories, these truths, does not mean that we have to keep them, right? So consciously decide if you want to keep these beliefs or if you're ready to create new ones. Because if you can recognize that these limiting beliefs that you have held on to for so long aren't allowing you to grow and evolve, then it's probably time to say, all right, I need to rewrite this belief. This is not my belief. This is a belief that was imprinted on me. It's a reflection of someone else's doubt. It's a reflection of someone else's belief. or a reflection of someone else's value, but it's not something I hold true to my own inner value, okay? And limiting thinking is hard, right? Because it's really hard to let go of something that we've held on to for so long. So we've really got to, like I said, do that internal work, okay? These limiting beliefs have been stemmed from your childhood, from people that surround you now who maybe have these doubts about what you do and don't believe in you. And so now those thoughts have been projected onto you. But that's not your own thinking. That is the fear of someone else being projected onto you. So after you discover a belief that's holding you back, let go of it. Just let go of it and create a new belief. Say, I deserve money. I want you to take one small action each day to remind yourself of your new empowering belief. Start with one limiting belief that you can recognize right now. And a really common limiting belief is, I can't make money doing what I love online. The only way that I can make money is if I work a 9-to-5 job, save up for retirement, and retire in my 50s or my 60s or whatever it is, okay? This is such a common story, right? I grew up with this belief that the only way that I could be successful and make money is if I had a corporate job, I climbed the ladder, worked 9 to 5 my whole life, saved up for retirement, and just took 2 weeks vacation each year. But that's not me. And when I moved overseas to Thailand with my husband, I knew I wanted a lifestyle where I could do this whenever I wanted. I didn't have to save up for 2 weeks vacation. I didn't have to try and convince my boss that, oh, I really need 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off because I'm going to Thailand to visit my family. I haven't seen them in like 3 years, okay? That's not the life I desired to have. So I knew that this belief that I had to work 9 to 5 wasn't my true belief. It was a belief that was stemmed on me, projected on me since I was a child, whether it be from my parents, whether it be from those around me, like my schools, my friends' parents. That is just the typical story a lot of us grow up with. And if we don't grow up with that story, then, maybe our lives look a little different. So say this is the limiting belief you and I share, right? And we're going to start working through this limiting belief. So the first step is to obviously recognize this isn't my truth. This isn't my story, okay? So we recognize this isn't for me. Now it's time to decide. Am I going to keep holding on to this story and let it control my growth? So if I'm holding on to this, and this is true, this has happened to me in the past, I held on to this belief and I was not allowing myself to create or make money or grow my business because deep down inside, I still held on to this truth that I couldn't make money online, that it was impossible. So there came a point where I had to decide, this is not me. This is not what I believe. This isn't a reflection of my value. And with that, I had to act upon that. So that meant literally writing a story to money, like writing a letter and saying, hey, money, this is why I haven't had a really great relationship with you. It's because of these truths, my limiting beliefs, my fears, my blah, blah, blah. And it's time that you and I start creating a healthy relationship together. And it might seem silly to write a letter to money, but I tell you what, it's so freaking empowering. Okay? And it's these little actions that you take, whether it's writing a letter to money, whether it's writing this new empowered belief saying, I can create money doing what I love on a sticky note, putting it on your laptop, putting it in the mirror in your bathroom, putting it next to your bed, so that subconsciously, that is your new belief. You no longer believe in that so-called truth that was holding you back. And once you can overcome that limiting belief and take those small actions, you are going to start seeing that growth. You are going to start believing in yourself, and your confidence is going to increase so much because now you realize what was holding you back wasn't your truth. It wasn't your belief. It wasn't your value. It was someone else's. So that is how you should work through limiting beliefs. You can journal all you want and say you're ready to overcome them. But again, you've got to take action. So with that comes your inspired action exercise. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. I'll probably say that about each inspired action exercise, to be honest. But this is honestly one of my favorite ones, and I get a lot of feedback when I have people complete this exercise because it's really powerful. So as you can see, I'm going to have you rewrite your story. What was your story before? And the one you thought was true, but it was actually just a false projection. So rewrite your story. And then you're going to write out how you position yourself as an expert and authority in your industry. So say you overcome all these limiting beliefs, right? Say that you're a freaking powerhouse, you're ready to own your power, you're ready to own your truth, and you're ready to show up as a freaking expert in whatever niche you're in. How are you going to do that? Give me why you decided to do what you do. Tell me what makes you an authority. I don't care if you're not certified. I don't care if you don't have training, if you don't have credentials. What experiences have you lived through? What stories can you share that allow you to position yourself as an expert? Because like I said, you do not have to be an expert in terms of having a master's degree or a bachelor's degree or some sort of technical training. It's your experiences in your stories and that courage to show up that are going to create your authority and your expertise so you can start growing and evolving and just flourishing in your business. So I'm really excited for this exercise for you to do. And I think the biggest part that you need to work on, especially if you're still stuck in limiting beliefs, if you've never done limiting belief homework, is to rewrite your story. To write down the story you've lived for so long and then coming down here and saying, no, that's not my story. This is my story based on my beliefs, my values, and based on my terms. So do this work, take this training, soak it all in, let the feelings roll in, and then after that, move on to the next lesson.